Hey Jeff and whoever else decides to watch this, it's my little guide to Hawaii Part 1, Maui. Maui is one of the islands of Hawaii. I went there, we checked it out, and I have some thoughts about it. It's a land of contrast, a land of sea and sky, volcanoes and jungles, tourism and art. Families live there, other families visit there. History, you can see other islands from Maui. We didn't see whales there because we went at a different time of year when they weren't there. But there's no wrong time to visit Maui because it's a land of wonderment and enchantment. When you get there, the airport is rudimentary and somehow still appealing and welcoming, and you'll see other families leaving even as you're arriving. And there's some cutesy stuff at the airport that you can find out about all on your own. And the usual, it's going to take you a long time to get a car and get something that has good clearance, though. That's important. We didn't do that, and we should have. You'll start looking around, you'll be tired, it's a long flight, maybe you waited at LAX or something for your flight, but you get out and look around, and the island, it's two parts. There's a part over here and another part over here, and they're connected in the middle by this, I call it the isthmus. I don't really know, I never looked up to find out is it really called that, but the middle part is like low ground. And there's just a lot of old stuff there, like this old, like sugarcane plantation is there that's clearly going to be like, I don't know, they'll turn it into a performance space or something probably, but it probably has a lot of hazardous waste in there. There are these highways that go across the middle part, and it seems like nobody knows what to do with the middle part. It used to be like 99-year leases for pineapple companies and banana companies that you've heard of, like Dole and Chiquita, whatever, they grew stuff out there, and the leases ran out. I guess I was Googling, I think the leases ran out like recently, and there's a co-op of locally owned to do some farming out there, but it's not so easy to do farming when I don't really know. I don't know why they're not. I don't know. It seems that the middle part of Maui is a land of contrast. The middle part of Maui is an area of contradictions or inactivity or something. I don't know. I'm trying to summarize this for you. But when you get out there, if you take the right highway across, because you'll mostly cut across the middle part, there's this one part where there's a landfill and there's trash blown up in the trees, and here's some pictures of that. It's actually incredible, and not even in Atlas Obscura, and you feel weird even getting out of the car to check it out. It's outrageous, actually. So there are these two lobes of land, and then the eastern one has the road to Hana that you can't miss that because everyone's going to ask you what day you're going to go do that. So do that. It's cool. The bridges and whatever, waterfalls. And then if you rent a car on Maui, they're going to tell you not to keep going at the end of the road to Hana, and that you have to sign something that says that you understand, and then they give you a rental car sort of map of the island, and they say don't go here, and more about that in a few minutes. We had a Dodge Charger with really low clearance, so that was like not going to happen. I mean, it's not even paved, according to the guy that rented us the car, and like every other person we talked to. This one stretch, don't do it. Anyway, then over on that same like eastern half of the island, is the volcano, and that thing goes up to 10,000 feet, and I'll tell about that in a few minutes, because there's some stuff, again, that it's like Atlas Obscura is sort of cool. This is like cool stuff that, I don't know, you can find out a lot of stuff on your own, but I'm going to try to tell you some things that you would never find out on your own. So anyway, lots of pictures of the trash in the trees on the isthmus. And my prediction, I hope this video is always on YouTube, and I hope that it's like forever. And come back and hit me in the comments if I'm wrong, but like 30 years from now, there are going to be subdivisions all over this stupid isthmus because it's extremely valuable land. People want to move out there. They can do their remote work jobs. The upper middle class people from the States or the mainland or whatever they call us are going to move there. They're going to want to live in houses. And I'm sure the developers are going to say, yeah, we're real estate developers, but we're going to do this right. We're going to make sure that there's green space and all this crap. It's just going to fill up with houses, and it's going to look like, I don't know, Southern California. And there's just going to be a lot of people there. So if you want to see the isthmus now with the trash in the trees, I think it's pretty neat. Better hurry, because I'm predicting that you only have like 30 years. Historically, development and, well, tourism and where people live like traditionally, my understanding is that this would be a Hawaii thing. Original settlement, like Hawaiian natives, they liked green, and even if that meant that it rained a lot. So that's where all the old stuff is, and that's kind of where like you're allowed to go be a tourist, but don't go too far up the roads because that's like local stuff, and I totally respect that. On Maui, that means the east side of the eastern lobe of the island, and that means, I don't know, some other, you can look at your phone, the like satellite view, and you can see where the vegetation is, but the flip side of that is it worked out nice for Hawaii. Tourism, what we know as tourism, like beaches and hotels and resorts and with swimming pools and golf courses, works really well. Tourists don't want to get rained on, so they've always, I think it's outside of Maui too, the resorts tend to be on west facing spots where it doesn't really rain very much, and then the beaches tend to be sort of windy. That's a thing on Maui, so be prepared for that. You're exposed to western wind, but I mean it's really cool, and since it's not raining, I mean you don't want to go get rained on when you only have a week and you're just having a luxury experience. But the resorts take up a very little geographic area, and it's like, I don't know, you can find them on a map, but there's like a bunch south of the airport, like where there's a DoubleTree down there where they filmed that HBO show White Lotus or Four Seasons or something. And I mean, some of the hotels are really cool. You can walk in from the beach and check them out, and like really pretty but kind of boring. And then the other big areas like the upper west side, I guess you'd call it, a whole bunch of resorts up there. Doesn't rain very much. And then this road to Hana and this other sort of jungly road, show you those on a map. And then the straight south part of the southern lobe of Maui is just these really cool volcano fields that nobody ever sees. Unless you drive the gravel road that you're not supposed to drive, or double back and go the other way up to the gravel that you're never supposed to drive in a rental car, because they never say what'll happen if you do. But if you have AAA anyway, what's the difference? Think about it. The volcano deserves its own section. I have this sort of into sections. You can hear me clicking on my mouse. The volcano is a big flat pancake thing. This isn't Mount St. Helens. Still, it's pretty tall, 10,000 feet. Like, you should just entitle this, What They Don't Tell You. And what they don't tell you about the volcano is that you're gonna be headed up there from sea level, and if you're spending a week on Maui, like, whoops, knock this over. Spending a week on Maui like a lot of people do, you'll probably decide you're gonna go look at the volcano in the middle of your vacation sometime, because it breaks up the days on the beach, and it'll be fun to go do something different on that Wednesday of your full week off or something. So what that means is that the majority of people that you encounter on the volcano are going to be crabby because they've been drying out and all desiccated and sunburned, and been on the beach all first half of their week, and they're using the volcano as a diversion because they're kind of sick of the beach and they're up there to see what's going on. And then there are the other people who actually plan ahead. This wasn't us, who like sign up with a service that they drive you up there in a bus, and you can ride your bike down at 5 in the morning or something, and you can watch the sunrise, which I heard is really cool. Probably worth it, but not something we were interested in. But the National Park Service I guess, like the high parts of the volcano are inside that Park Service land. You can't ride a bike up there anymore. They did away with that. They wrecked all the fun. But in my opinion, having seen the bikers biking down the pavement of the volcano, like below the national park part, there's plenty. This is at 4,000 or 5,000 feet. It's a really, really stupid thing to do. And I bike a lot. I love riding bikes. I have like bikes all over the garage, and I ride my bike to work. And like, this sounds like something cool that I might like to do, but I saw the people doing it, and it's just foolish. Like, you're just sitting there riding the brakes that are burning up, and you can see this stuff anyway out of a car window. Like, I guess if you really want to have the experience, but it freaks me out. Like, there must be accidents because people aren't used to being on a bike at high speed, and they come zipping around. It's like hairpin turn after hairpin turn, and there are other people, crabby people, driving up the volcano paved road in rental cars that they're not used to driving. And like, maybe there's a reason that the Park Service didn't. Anyway, there must be accidents. It seems foolish. Up top, two things stand out. First, it's quite dramatic up there and beautiful, and this isn't easy to figure. I mean, very easy to figure out. I don't need to go into much of this, but there's some nice scenery. But the really funny thing, and again, they don't tell you this, and I feel like there ought to be some warning signs. It's like, A, you're crabby because you're midweek. That's just, I infer that's when a lot of people are up puttering around on the volcano in their rent-a-car, whatever. B, if you just went from, I don't care how healthy you are, athletic, fit, I don't care, even if you live in Denver, Santa Fe, or someplace, exception might be like La Paz, Bolivia, which is a super high elevation. If you're from anywhere near sea level and you just spent past several days at sea level, like literally maybe 60 feet above sea level in a hotel room on the beach, and then you drive up the volcano, which takes 2 hours, and suddenly you're at 10,000 feet, you're gonna have GI upset. And the Park Service has not done a good job of supplying enough restrooms for people to use. And it is funny to watch once you notice, because there are long lines outside of the porta potties at each of the stops going up the volcano. And the people are as crabby as, oh my God. They're crabby because they can't breathe, because they just drove to 8, 9, 10,000 feet in a rental car in a short period of time. And they're dehydrated because it's super dry up there. And they're having diarrhea. And there's a line, and they're slamming the car doors and getting all mad at each other. You're watching families fighting and pushing each other out of line to use the porta potties, and it's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know, I feel like the Park Service could do a better job educating the public about this. The locals on Maui are mysterious. Maui is a land of contrast. I would never go up to somebody and say like, hey, you should smile. But the game in Hawaii is to like actually connect with a human being, even if you're just conducting a transaction, like buying snacks at the 7-Eleven, like actually have a real human interaction with locals, and everybody enjoys it. It's kind of hard to do, but that's something our family likes to do, and we just like to be silly at this store. And but there's this other side of the locals in Hawaii that, for example, we went up to this park that has like a rock that you can look at in some little gardens and stuff, and then nearby there's this like international garden, and the locals there, it was like Miller time, and they were playing reggae, and it was like a bunch of guys that just got off work, and they like, these are like people that actually work, like work clothes, and we were kind of skeezed out. And it's sort of funny because it's one of these things that you might think to go do on your way to the airport if you have a late afternoon flight out, which is what we were doing at this place and what everybody else appeared to be doing too, other than the locals who were just there to like catcall our daughters. But hey, you know, weirdly not many roosters on Maui, not many at all. Not sure why. I'm sure somebody can explain this to me, but my favorite rooster situation was actually at one of my favorite establishments was the Maui Brewing Company near the airport, which is a good place to go kill time before your plane takes off. But it's in a business park, and it's not an inspiring drive up to the business park past other business park type buildings. There's a big patio. You can sort of see the sky, and maybe there's a view from up there. But the roosters up there were really cool, and they just hung around and like ate leftovers. And it's weird. We really like the Maui Brewing Company that's in a business park really close to the airport.